We are seeing a crisis in West Asia. I am Ajay Banerjee, Deputy Editor of the Tribune. We are discussing the crisis, what is unfolding in West Asia. India has a very unique position. One side there is Iran, India's civilisational friend for the past 5,000 years. On the other side are two of its strategic partners. One is Israel and other is the US. The two have joined hands and bombed Iran. Iran has retaliated with multiple strikes. Now the critical portion comes in. How is India impacted by this? India in the past has not joined any coalition or any American strikes anywhere in the West Asia or in Afghanistan. At the present moment, what is happening is India and US have 4 foundational agreements. Of the 4, 2 agreements relate, one to logistics and other to encrypted communication. India, as several of our listeners and viewers may be aware, uses critical American equipment platforms to conduct surveillance overseas, which includes the General Atomics-made MQ-9B drone and also the Boeing P-8I, a maritime long-range surveillance aircraft. These 2 aircraft can look at sea and provide data real-time imagery. Now, coming back to the foundational agreements, these 2 agreements, one on logistics and other on communication, does not mean, I repeat, does not mean that India will automatically help the US with logistics or with data of surveillance of these planes and the UAVs which are of US origin. The data or agreements which we have signed, the logistics one in 2016 and one on agreement on the communication called COMCASA in 2018 are very categorical and clear. Each request by any of the country, India or US, for using logistics or needing some communication will be dealt on a case-to-case basis and approved by the government. The agreements and their clauses and their agreements do not kick in automatically. That is the critical point for India to watch in this crisis in West Asia. How are these impacting? India in the past has never joined forces, as I told you, in the past. And even now, we are told so far there has been no request by the US seeking logistics from any of the Indian bases. Now, logistics, I must expand here, are fuel, supplies, water, replenishment, even spares, and even repair facilities at Indian bases. This could be a warship, this could be a plane, and there are several US planes flying, which also have common equipment with the Indians, which includes, as I told you, the P-8I, the MH-60R helicopters, and also the MQ-9B drones. The drones are on lease, the other 2, the helicopters and the P-8I, are on Indian purchase there with the Navy. The Indian Air Force also has multiple US equipment, which includes 2 specialized planes, the C-17 and the C-130J, besides 2 types of helicopters, the Chinook and the Apache. Why this logistics agreement came about? It was when India sailed about, or Indian ships sailed about to the Indo-Pacific or far areas, they needed logistics, supplies, fuels, rations, which are provided at US bases. But again, this is on case-to-case basis and not automatic. It is not that an Indian ship can go and dock into Djibouti at the American base and seek fuel. No, that will not be the case. And especially in a case conflict like West Asia, where India's civilization partner Iran is one of the parties in this conflict, India would not want to be seen providing logistics to any US equipment, platform or plane. The communication part, the COMCASA, has encrypted communication on board Indian planes or helicopters, which is purchased from the US. This encrypted communication provides seamless communication with multiple agencies. India downloads the data on its own, at its own basis, and does not share with anyone. In the past, now going back to history to understand what is this. In 1991, the first Gulf War, when US invaded Iraq, Prime Minister Chandrasekhar was at the helm of affairs. He first okayed and then pulled back the permission to refuel the American planes, which were flying in from the Pacific towards the Persian Gulf. Cut to 2003, Prime Minister Vajpayee, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. He refused permission to American planes to refuel or replenish their supplies and stocks at Indian air bases or ports. Sometime in 2013-14, America planned that the Afghan national forces had come up very well and they asked India to join in. India said they will pay for the equipment the Afghan forces need, and large Russian equipment was purchased by India or funded by India for the Afghan national forces. Later in 2017 also, Prime Minister Modi's government also refused permission to join any kind of putting any boots on ground in Afghanistan. So far, Indian policy has been keeping away from any such America-directed or Israel-directed, largely America-directed operations in West Asia. So far, we have, in this case also, in the present conflict in West Asia, India has remained neutral, has not taken side with either Iran or with Israel-America axis. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs issued a very categorical statement calling for peace and dialogue. We all know that the American side was having a dialogue with the Iranians with regards to stockpiling of nuclear or enriched nuclear fuel. This talks broke down and America struck Iran and so on and so forth, and Iran struck back, which carries on to the third day today. We will keep on bringing you updates with India-specific updates to this conflict in West Asia. With me is Tribune photographer Mukesh Agarwal.